FM. First out top stories. ADC coalition leaders meet in Abuja with demand of full membership from Atiku and Obi. Dangote refinery reorganizes workforce over sabotage while denying mass sacking. Blackout looms at TCN workers down tools over unpaid salaries. Lagos begins demolition of illegal buildings at Trade Fair Complex. Federal government reaffirms that tuition and charges in all federal technical colleges remain completely free. On our international scene, prison riot in Ecuador kills at least 17 people. And in sport, FIFA unveils 2026 World Cup mascots for Canada, Mexico and US. Those are our top stories. Details coming up shortly. We'll bring you details of the news headlines and other stories. Now, I am Solomon Ofem. The news starts with party politics, where ahead of the 2027 general elections, former Vice President Atiku on Thursday attended a closed-door meeting of the African Democratic Congress ADC coalition leaders in Abuja. The closed-door meeting held at an undisclosed venue in the Federal Capital Territory was attended by former President of and the ADC, former Senate President and ADC National Chairman David Mark, former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai. Also present were ex-Minister of Digital Economy Issa Pantami, former Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal, former Kwara State Governor Abdul Fatai Ahmed, and ex-Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi. Atiku confirmed his presence through a post on X, where he described the gathering as part of a broader resistance movement. The former vice president emphasized that the opposition bloc is determined to present a credible alternative to President Bola Tinubu's administration. Discussions at the meeting centered on strengthening unity within the opposition bloc and harmonizing strategies for the 2027 elections. At the top of the resolution was the suspension of efforts to register the proposed All Democratic Alliance ADA, which the coalition had earlier applied to the Electoral Commission for recognition. ADC National Chairman David Mark presided over the session. Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi sent apologies but pledged his loyalty to the coalition. According to ADC's National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi, three major decisions were reached. First, all presidential aspirants agreed to back whoever emerges as the party's candidate for the primaries. Second, members were directed to resign their membership in other political parties and fully commit to the ADC. Third, the National Working Committee will announce dates for primaries in Osun and Ekiti ahead of the off-cycle governorship elections. Meanwhile, the leadership of the opposition coalition has demanded that 8 members resign from their current political parties and join the African Democratic Congress fully, although it gave no specific deadline for the transition. The National Publicity Secretary of the ADC, Bolaji Abdullahi, stated this in Abuja on Thursday following a caucus meeting that included senior party leaders and prominent political figures. The All Progressives Congress ADC and the People's APC and the People's Democratic Party PDP have dismissed a directive by the African Democratic Congress ADC directing prospective members in other parties to decamp to the ADC ahead of the 2027 general elections. The PDP, the APC and PDP said the move by the coalition posed no threat and would have no impact on them. Since the ADC was introduced in July 2nd as the coalition platform to challenge President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 elections, a few opposition leaders have switched parties to join it. However, most have yet to formally leave their existing parties. For instance, former Vice President Atiku left the PDP but has not officially joined the ADC. Similarly, Peter Obi, the Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, and several others continue to remain in their respective parties despite associating themselves with the coalition. Away from party politics now, the management of Dangote Refinery and Petrochemicals has embarked on a sweeping reorganization of its operations and workforce. The refinery said the decision was taken in response to repeated sabotage by staff members that threatened the operational safety of the 650,000 barrels per day facility. In a letter dated September 24, 2025, this signed by the Chief General Manager, Human Asset Management, Femi Adekunle, the refinery said it was constrained to carry out a total reorganization of the plant following many recent cases of reported sabotage in the different units of the petroleum refinery, leading to major safety concerns. Affected staff are directed to hand over all company property to their line managers and await clearance before receiving their entitlement, with the finance department, which the finance department will compute in line with their conditions of service. However, a senior official of Dangote Refinery and Petrochemicals dismissed reports that the company sacked workers en masse, insisting that the recent development was a reorganization exercise aimed at curbing sabotage within the plant. Speaking on Friday, the official who confirmed the authenticity of the disengagement letter stressed that its interpretation had been largely misinterpreted and misrepresented. According to him, the move was designed to plug leakages and protect the company's assets following repeated acts of sabotage. Electricity supply across the country may face disruptions as members of the National Union of Electricity Employees (NUEE) in the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) have embarked on an indefinite strike over unresolved welfare and operational issues. In a notice signed by its acting general manager Dominic Igwebike, the union directed all TCN workers to withdraw their services with immediate effect, citing the expiration of an earlier ultimatum issued to the company's management. The union said the action became inevitable after repeated appeals to address outstanding staff salaries, welfare demands, and operational challenges were ignored. Issues raised include non-implementation of the national minimum wage, casualization of workers, non-provision of tools and protective equipment since 2021, non-payment of staff salaries since April 2025, lack of operational vehicles, and unresolved retirement benefit. The TCN manages the national grid system, including high voltage transmission towers, substations, and other critical power supply assets. The Lagos State government has begun demolition of unsafe and illegal buildings at the Trade Fair Complex in Ojo. The operation was carried out jointly by the Ministry of Physical Planning, Lagos State Building Control Agency, Lagos State Urban Renewal Agency, and the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority. Senior Staff Assistant on New Media to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Jibril Gawat, confirmed the exercise in a post on X. According to him, the move was to restore order and enforce physical planning laws. He said the operation was targeted at illegal development, structures without statutory approvals, defective structures, and buildings erected on road setbacks and drainages. Also present were the Office of Infrastructure, members of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and security agencies who provided backup during the exercise. Meanwhile, the Lagos State government last week ordered the immediate suspension of all reclamation projects across the state, citing environmental risks. The federal government has reaffirmed that tuition and approved charges in all federal technical colleges (FTCs) remain completely free, stressing that no Nigerian child should be denied access to technical education because of unauthorized payment. Minister of Education Tunji Alausa said this via the ministry's official X handle that the government fully funds tuition alongside approved costs such as boarding, uniforms, textbooks, exercise books, ID cards, stationery, clubs and societies, medicals, vocational training, utilities, securities, websites and e-resort, school media, extra lessons and insurance. He warned that no principal or administrator is permitted to impose extra levies on parents or guardians. Circulars reinforcing this policy, added, will be distributed to all schools and parents to eliminate any ambiguity. The minister clarified, however, that while the government covers tuition and major expenses, boarders in federal technical colleges are still expected to provide personal items such as beddings, toiletries, school shoes, uniforms for religious observance, mosquito nets, cutlery, and other essentials. We also learn to the news at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll go for a very, very short break. We'll be right back with our news analysis segment with Dr. Peter Anosike. If you're just tuning in, this is the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM, and you're on to the World News at 12. Joining me to help analyze the news item is Peter Anosike. He's a current affairs analyst. He's also an academic doctor with PhD on consulting and profit management from Brenner University in the state of Delaware, United States. He's also the author of the book Abuse of Power: How Democracy Turned into Tyranny of the Few. Dr. Anosike, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
So, we're talking politics again. After weeks of looking like the ADC coalition is on the down low, following different talking point of what is going to happen. Who will be the presidential flag bearer? Is it Atiku? Is it Peter Obi? And all the other little infighting that we've been hearing, you know, when the coalition just got together. They died down for a moment, and it looks like they are back in the news this time with a meeting in Abuja. And of course there were, well, while the venue was undisclosed and we didn't get to hear details of what the meeting is all about, of course, we were told that it's more of a pushback and more of a strategy on how to unseat the current administration, the APC-led administration, championed by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And of course, they also gave a snippet of the three major talking points. First, that all presidential aspirants agree to back whoever emerges as the party's candidate for the primaries. Now, let's analyze the three talking points first. One by one, rather. First, all presidential aspirants agree to back whoever emerges as the party's candidate for the primaries. Do you think that is visible when you consider some of the little infightings we hear emanating from the party?
Well, it is very, very, very feasible that if they can put the interest of the country first,
instead of personal ambition.
Understand? Now, Nigeria is a sinking ship. So, if their mission is let us rescue this country, we cannot have two presidential candidates in one political party. It must be only one. So, the agreement that whoever emerges, others will support him is a good one. That's if they will abide by it.
Unfortunately, is that even possible? I mean, we have three people that have come out to declare their intention to be president. Former Labour Party presidential aspirant Peter Obi, and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and former Transport Minister Rotimi Amici. Well, there is a tendency to take Amici out of the picture. We know the two major forces is going to be Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar. And we know they are both quite ambitious to be the president, and it doesn't look like any of them is backing out. And if information we get is anything to go by, the coalition has been more of an Atiku coalition than a Peter Obi coalition. You know, taking a look at that, you think they will have this huge support? What if Atiku emerged the presidential flag bearer, and then Peter Obi now sees the chance to go back to Labour. I mean, he's still in Labour Party technically, or if it becomes a Peter Obi presidential flag bearer, and Atiku becomes angry and decide to become the presidential candidate in another party. I mean, looking at all this scenario, how possible do you think that will be, considering they're both quite ambitious?
I say every human being is ambitious. Every human being is ambitious.
So some are more ambitious than others.
If you are not ambitious, you will not even get up from your bed in the morning. It is ambition that drives what you do. So the issue is this. I say their number one talking point is possible if they will put the interest of the country first. If they should put the interest of the country first, for me, there's nothing wrong in being ambitious. What is wrong is being desperate. Understand? So if they put the interest of the country first, that we are here to make Nigeria better, that it must not be me as a presidential candidate, it will solve.
We know politicians are some of the most optimistic people in the world, you know, and Atiku will say, well, what's wrong with both? What's wrong with making my ambition be putting the country first? In his mind, he thinks he's the best person that can bring the country to back to where it was. Peter Obi would definitely feel the same thing. So how do you judge someone's idea of putting the country first?
Well, for me, what you are saying is mere speculation.
It's not speculation. I mean, it's something we see
you are not
every day.
You are not in Peter Obi's mind or in Atiku's mind,
where we can only look at antecedents, obviously.
So, and I don't see any of them being too desperate. In 2015, Buhari won the APC primary and Atiku supported him. In 2015, Muhammadu Buhari won the APC primary and Atiku did not go to contest in another political party.
I mean, those are years ago. We understand he's getting older and his chances of being the president is slimmer. So he's much more desperate now than he was 8 years ago.
That's what you are thinking. You, as I said, you are not in Atiku's mind. You are not in Atiku's mind. All I want is let them have a free and fair primary. And if they have a free and fair primary, whoever emerges, others will support him.
How free and fair would that be when it already looks more like an Atiku coalition than the Peter Obi's coalition?
This you are thinking. This is your own thinking. People are just imagining things.
I mean, that's the information we get from the camp. It's not just imagination.
From which camp?
I mean, from the ADC camp, different news emanating from there.
I say this is your imagination. My prayer is let them have a free, fair primaries so that whoever win, let the person win virtuously. I feel that others would run around him because this is Operation Rescue Nigeria. That's what ADC is, Operation Rescue Nigeria from what APC has put it in the last 10 years. So whoever loves Nigeria will support whoever wins the presidential candidate of ADC because that's our only alternative. So
you're optimistic that the other presidential aspirants will back whomever emerges as the party's candidate?
I say if they put Nigeria first, they will back whoever wins.
Okay.
If they put Nigeria first.
Okay, let's go straight to the second point, where members are directed to resign their membership in their political parties and fully commit to the ADC. How visible is that? It will be tantamount to putting all their eggs in one basket. At least they have a little leverage with the fact that Peter Obi, for example, is still in still in Labour Party rather, while still pledging allegiance to the coalition. Atiku Abubakar, on the other hand, have left PDP officially, but he has not officially joined the ADC.
Well, for me, I know that P2B is not in the Labour Party anymore.
Well, he has not come out to officially denounce his membership from the Labour Party.
Even more than 3 months ago, I was saying if P2B wants to contest as a presidential candidate, he must leave Labour Party. If Atiku wants to contest, he must leave PDP. Understand? So, for now, what they are saying is that everybody should show full commitment. Just like Atiku has not registered, is not a registered member of ADC. And P2B is not a registered member of ADC. So they are saying if you are with us, you have to show that you are with us. And the only way to show that they are with the party is to register officially in their wards. So this is what the members of ADC wants to do. If you are with us, register officially become a card-carrying member of ADC. And it is good that they did not give any timeline.
Okay.
So, and I'm sure before December, all these people will register fully as members of ADC because there's no other party in the country.
But do you think it's fair, though, the imposition on the party for, let's say, Peter Obi, for example, where the obedience movement are split in two? There are one group that feels it doesn't matter if Peter Obi becomes the presidential candidate or not. Whether even if Atiku becomes the president, Peter Obi should be able to become the vice president, and both power coming together should be able to unseat the APC and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and they don't care as far as it's Peter Obi is in the ticket, either president or vice president. And then you have the other half of obedient movement that say it must be Peter Obi or nothing. So in a situation where he doesn't now become the presidential flag bearer, what now happened? You now have 50 or 60% of the obedient movement not supporting that coalition.
But doing what? If they don't support the coalition, what would they do? Vote for APC?
Their inaction is, their inaction is huge either way.
So for me, no position is zoned to any human being. P2B, as we speak, is the most credible politician we have in this country today.
But does that matter, though?
He is the most popular politician that we have in Nigeria today. And if he goes to the primary and do the right thing, he has every chance of picking the ticket. He has every chance of picking the ticket. And P2B has a better alternatives than Atiku Abubakar. P2B can run as a presidential candidate. P2B can also run as a vice presidential candidate. But Atiku has been vice presidential candidate on 2 terms. So he cannot run again as a vice presidential candidate.
Definitely.
Constitution is against that. Understand? So that's why I said that P2B still have more chances than Atiku Abubakar.
Really? Despite the fact that it's been tagged an Atiku coalition?
That is, don't believe the lies of APC. So all these things have been manipulated by APC. But the 2 political parties in the country today are APC and ADC. The other ones are dead. PDP is dead. Labour Party is dead.
Okay, and of course, the third is the National Working Committee will announce dates for primaries in Osun and Ekiti ahead of off-cycle governorship election. Now, this is one aspect that it looks like the ADC is overlooking. Off-cycle elections, local government elections, and council election. There seems to be this focus more on the presidential candidates where they don't seem to be an equal focus on the other, tiers and part of government. Everybody forgets that grassroots support is as strong as and as important as who the president is. Grassroots support also, you can't underestimate the power of the political parties, of the local government chairman and the councillors of the different wards and the governors of the state. If most of the governors and the chairman and the councillors are all from PDP and APC, I mean, what chance does the ADC have for the presidential election?
P2B had no councillor. P2B had no local government chairman. P2B has no governor in 2023.
Don't you think that also helped in not negatively for him not winning the presidency? I mean the PDP won. Sorry, the APC won. The PDP came second, and you can't underestimate the fact that it was because they have party structures helps them. However you want to interpret that.
When you say one, put that word officially. Understand? They won officially, but unofficially, we knew what happened. Understand? So
I mean, there have been allegations of rigging, yes, but then if they want to rig, the rigging will definitely start from the wards and local governments, don't you think?
P2B did not have those things in 2023, and
that's why he came third, don't you think so? If he had those, if he had those things
on the INEC paper, P2B come third. But in my mind, P2B won the election.
But it doesn't matter. He's not the president, in your mind or not, because
in my mind and in the mind of most Nigerians, P2B won the presidential election in 2023.
Despite the accusation of allegations on the part of the APC, some people believe if P2B had grassroots support from grassroots leadership, if P2B had support from councillors and governors, it would have helped stopped the rigging. If there was rigging at all, it would have helped stop the rigging on that aspect. I mean, we saw some of the results from IRF, though belatedly posted. There were lots of cancellations. There were lots of supposed rigging. I mean, we also saw instance of the INEC officers, instead of snapping the election sheet, they were snapping themselves. All those things would have been stopped or reduced to the barest minimum if P2B had supporters from the councillorship and wards and local government chairman to make sure they actually supervise those things, to make sure no rigging whatsoever.
But all those INEC officers who did that, how better off are they today?
Does it matter? The point is that
no, how better off are they today? Because the evil that you permitted, the evil that you supported, will always come back to hurt you. So the issue is they have announced that that there will be a primary for the off-second elections. Understand? ADC is just being built. It's a gradual process.
Exactly. So how strong with the gradual process? How strong do you think there will be come 2027?
There will be a party to beat. It is ADC that will determine who will be in Aso Rock in 2027, not APC.
Okay. Let's move away from that now and get to Dangote Refinery, where the management of the refinery has embarked on a sweeping reorganization of its operation and workforce. The refinery said the decision was taken in response to repeated sabotage by staff members and threats, and that threatened the operational safety of the facility. And of course, they've come out to debunk rumors that there's mass sacking going on. Do you think what has gone on with Nupeng and Pengasin and so many other union has forced this change and reorganization in Dangote refinery?
Well, for me, the word reorganization simply means it's just a diplomatic word. What it means is sack. Okay. Understand? What it means in the HR language is sack. When a company say your service, because of the reorganization going on in this company, your services are no longer required. You have been sacked. So that word reorganization is just to make it look less harmful. Understand? But the person is no more there. So for me, let us get this thing right. Every company, every business owner has the power to hire and fire. Every company have that right to hire and fire. What saves you from that hire and fire is union. What saves you from that hire and fire is a union. And that's what Dangote don't want. Because it's the responsibility of the union to fight for the right of the workers in every company. Harassment, poor working conditions, and so on. These are the right of the union to fight, not individuals. And this is what Dangote don't want. This is what most of the business owners in the country don't want. They don't want unions.
That may be true, but when you look at the unions in question, Nupeng, Pengason, and all these other unions, I mean, it's been politicized over the years, and there have been indications show that obviously there have been the oil and gas huge cabals, these cabals that have dominated oil and gas in Nigeria for years, running it the way they see fit until Dangote come in. And it looks like the cabal is Dangote is actually winning the war against the cabal, and these unions, Pengason and Nupeng and this other union, are more like desperate efforts by these cabals to further destabilize Dangote.
For me, Dangote is paving way to do in that downstream sector what he did in the cement industry. Monopoly. That's where he is going to. Now imagine lecturers in the universities without ASU. Understand me? How do you think that they will cope? But if their salaries are not paid,
it's not exactly the same thing.
It is the same thing. I was Sun newspaper neighbor correspondent for 7 years. So when I talk on this issue, I talk with experience. Understand? Imagine lecturers without ASU. Imagine medical doctors without NMA. So these are the unions that fight for you. If your salary is not paid, you cannot go alone to fight government, pay me. It is the union that will fight for you. So the union has their own importance.
Despite their political agenda, and despite
what's their political agenda?
Despite accusations,
are they in PDP or LP?
Despite the fact that there are accusations that they are aligned with the other side of the oil and gas cabal that have destroyed the oil and gas industry in Nigeria for years.
For me, unions are very, very important. People may not see it, but I have been there. I know the importance. Understand? Without NUJ, you are on your own. Understand me? Without NUJ, you are on your own. So this union protects you. This union fights for you. Otherwise, you can wake up in the morning and somebody will call you, I don't need you to come here. So it is them that fights for you. So Dangote is a behemoth. He wants to dictate what happens in the downstream sector. And he knows that Nupeng and Pengason will be checkmating him. This is what he's trying to avoid.
But some people are saying with other refineries coming in, like the Boa, for example.
When would they come in? When would they come in? and Dangote is running with 650. Boy is coming with 450. Can you compete with? Can 450 compete with 650? The answer is no.
Well, they are close.
I am an economist. Understand? With 650, reduce the pump price, make your money on volume. You run the other person out of business. It's simple. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. Dangote makes his money on volume. Understand? Because he has a Niger war chest. It is through volume that he is running other people out of business.
Okay, Dr. Anosike, thank you very much for your time. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
That was Peter Anosike, a current affairs analyst. He's also an academic doctor with PhD on consulting and profit management from Abuja University in the state of Delaware, United States. He is also the author of the book Abuse of Power: How Democracy Turned into Tyranny of the Few. A quick look at what's happening outside Nigeria. At least 17 people have been killed in a prison riot in Ecuador, the second deadliest prison brawl to hit the country this week. The fighting broke out in the coastal city of Esmeraldas near the Colombian border. Police reportedly found dead prisoners inside their cell blocks, and images shared on social media show victims sprawled on the ground with bare, blood-stained torsos. At least 2 of them were decapitated. Earlier this week, a prison riot caused by gang fighting in southern Ecuador killed 14 people and wounded 14, according to a local police chief. Prisoners in the port town of Machala, south of Guayaquil, faced off with authorities on Monday, killing a guard and kidnapping officers. Ecuador has a history of deadly prison violence. More than 100 inmates were killed in Guayaquil in 2021, and a riot between rival gangs inside the prison. Ecuador's biggest prison massacre, and more than 50 were injured. About 500 inmates have been killed since February 2021, often in gruesome fashion, with the bodies dismembered and burned. And now to sports news. FIFA has unveiled the official mascot for the 2026 World Cup, with each host nation represented by a unique character. Maple the Moose stands for Canada, Zayo the Jaguar for Mexico, and Clutch the Bald Eagle for the United States, reflecting cultural diversity and shared passion for the global game. The 2026 World Cup kicks off next June. In a departure from previous World Cup tournament featuring a single mascot, FIFA created 3 distinct characters to represent the first ever World Cup hosted by 3 nations. Maple the Moose serves as Canada's ambassador, taking the position of goalkeeper. For Mexico, Zayo the Jaguar represents the nation's rich heritage as a striker, drawing inspiration from the animal's significance in ancient Mayan culture. Clutch the Bald Eagle is a midfielder and highlights the togetherness that all players of that position brings to the pitch. FIFA President Gianni Infantino emphasized the mascot's significance in embodying the tournament's core values. Each character features a detailed backstory connecting them to their respective nations, geography, and culture. That's the news, but before we go, here again are the top stories. ADC coalition leaders meet in Abuja with demand of full membership from Atiku and Obi. Dangote refinery reorganizes workforce over sabotage while denying mass sacking. Blackout looms as TCN workers down tools over unpaid salaries. Lagos begins demolition of illegal buildings at Trade Fair Complex. Federal government reaffirms that tuition and charges in all federal technical colleges remain completely free. On an international scene, prison riot in Ecuador kills at least 17 people. And in sport, FIFA unveils 2026 World Cup mascot for Canada, Mexico, and United States. And that's the World News at 12. I am Solomon of FM. Do follow our social media handles at VOP903FM. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at VOP903FM. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.